Welcome to the Global Exclusive Podcast. Today is an exciting second week of anniversary with the highly anticipated banner of Guardian Blade Charlotte and Emperor Vlad. Right, guys?
Everyone has been waiting for this for so
Oh
long.
yeah.
I cannot believe it's finally here. I am so happy. The only thing making me happy is that this beautiful menage a trois is happening with me, Shadow, and Muspel. I
Yeah.
am a bit excited.
Well, no. Yeah, no.
I,
No.
I mean, it could, right? Like, don't say no yet.
Let's get started with the first unit on the banner, NVA Zyle.
Who's MVA Zyle?
He's the new NVA that came with his event, right?
Oh yeah, I did get a
Right?
Zyle for free in the event. So yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't NVA him.
Gun too, yeah. I think it's for Zyle, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
They gave a 4-star in NVA, which is very strange, but that's very
Yeah,
definitely a thing that happened this week.
but hold on, I can't NVA my Zyle in the game. Like, I'm checking right now.
Maybe you just need to get good.
Got him.
Hmm.
Remember when
All right, no,
asked
but
everyone on the Discord and like Muspel almost banned me? That happened before. Yeah.
But okay,
Yeah.
real talk. I have no idea, like honest, no idea why we didn't get NVA Zyle. NVA
Well,
Zyle.
I think there's two things. First off, I have no idea why in JP they ever gave Zyle an NVA to begin with. Like,
True.
even at the time, it was really fucking weird. Shadow just mentioned it, but like when he first like pinged everybody on our Discord server and said, "Hey, like they're giving a 4-star in NVA. Maybe stop fusing or selling your 4-star bases." I thought he was trolling.
Yeah, I
too.
was actually so upset with that message because, like, I cannot live in a world where I could not fuse my 4 stars. Okay, like I just need to use that. It's like that could not work for me. So at one point, like, I'm happy that the trend never continued in JP after Zyle.
Not
Zyle
it
was
did.
really.
like,
No.
But it did. Because
wait, it did?
yeah, Slime, remember Metal Slime from the Dragon Quest? That guy
Okay,
got
but
an
that's
NVA.
that's special. But that's special. That's special.
Waka
I'm
got an
gonna
NVA. Like the
wait.
3-star
Waka?
Waka. Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay.
So
All right,
it's
but still,
No.
going back to the
Waka did
original.
not get an NVA. He got a 7-star.
oh, did he get a 7-star? Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
this weird shit is still happening. I don't think it set a precedent. It's just it happens
Well,
once in a while.
I guess they're experimenting, right?
Yeah.
But again, I want to go back to my original point. I have no fucking idea why Zyle was removed though, because we're getting free Zyles from the event, right? Like there's
I,
one
I
in the one of the NK levels and shit. Like why?
my guess is the Gumi got rid of it because it's a weird thing and it's just going to be one more exception that they have to explain in tutorials and stuff. And like I don't if that's the reason why, I don't like that reasoning. I think we should have gotten Zyle. But I think that
But
could be
wait,
I think that could be why they thought they should do it. They shouldn't
sure,
release him.
sure. I mean, I get the reasoning of like this was just a weird one-off. Let's just remove it. I get that. I get that. It's just a shame because like some people were anticipating Zyle. Sinzar was saying on the Newsday podcast that he was actually the best unit on this banner and that he actually
I
had a lot of
mean,
use in DV. Um, but
yes and no. Like we can talk about his kid later if we want to go over that, but
do we really? Because like he's not in the game. I don't think we should. I don't know. I mean, maybe you guys want to, but
I guess just to he's not very good. Like
but
I think he was better in JP because JP does not have Zon. Because like he does AoE killer buffs and some other like AoE, minor AoE amps. But like in GL you're probably just gonna bring Zon and somebody with a big killer buff or something. And it's not that Zyle is bad, but he's still not great.
okay. But
It
my thing is still that why not just give him right? It's a free unit. I get that there might have been translations like does Zyle have a 7 star?
No.
no.
Well,
Right. So there's I
I think he
guess.
does in JP maybe. Let me look.
Yes, in JP he does. That's how they did
Yes.
I
it.
mean,
They
he
made him
would
into a
have to have
7-star.
it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe there was a lot of extra translations or shit they didn't want to do, but I just feel it was a weird move to just not give the community a mediocre unit because now it just invoked a lot of anger
So
for no reason at all, and they're not communicating even about it. That's the worst part. It's not like they're going out on their Twitter or what the fuck and saying like, "Hey guys,
I think the
we."
thing is, it's a very small minority of the player base probably that pays any attention to JP.
yeah.
So Like, yeah,
Yeah, but there's
people
still
on
like
Reddit
rage on Reddit, right?
people on Reddit and Discord are super mad, but that's probably like 2 or
No,
3% of the players.
Yeah, but again, if
but
people
that
being
doesn't
mad
matter.
on Discord and Reddit is another Tuesday for them. So there is
That
that.
too.
No. Listen, but what happens is that people are mad on Reddit and Discord. So content creators are going to make videos that vent this frustration
Okay,
as well, right?
let me clarify. The number of people that watch content creators and go on Reddit and Discord, like the average player of FFBE, probably is not aware that the game even exists. Well, they probably, like, if they thought about it, they might figure the game exists in Japan, but they're not aware that like the Japanese version is meaningfully different at all.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, or maybe I'm just I could be wrong here, but I am kind of have this feeling that all gacha income basically comes from whales. That's how it works. It's like 5% of the players bring in all the revenue for the game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And but I'm still thinking that, if you're putting serious money down on FFB, I'm just guessing you are in the community though. At least you're watching,
Yeah,
Sinzar's vids, or you're hanging on Reddit. So I think that still, that still affects the whales, or at least the people that pay do get
Possibly.
exposed to this anger.
Although I don't think Zyle is very useful for whales, because like everything he does is done better by other NV units. I think probably.
No, but
I think
I'm talking
what
about the
Barros
lack
was
of
trying to
communication.
point out is that the rage could still influence Whale's decision to continue playing the game.
Exactly.
It could. I just don't think it's going to be like. I think that for whales, it's not that big a deal aside from like the principle of the matter. Like Zyle himself is not something that any whale is going to miss, really.
No. But listen, here's my point. My point is, and I actually talked about this in Discord just the other day. I think that one of the biggest mistakes Gumi has made ever since the creation of FB, or literally any mobile game they've had, is that they are terrible at communicating. All right. I mean, not terrible. Like, I don't want to blame them for it, but they just don't have a culture of transparent communication at all. Like, this wouldn't have even been a problem if they had a channel where they could just easily say, hey, you know what, guys? Zyle was an experiment in JP. We feel like he would bring very little use to the player base in GL, so we're not going to include him because this is also this weird one-off 4-star NVA. And that would have made, like, this small
That would
piece
have
of
made
communication,
people so incredibly fucking angry.
So
but not more
Barros,
angry than they are now.
no,
Like,
no,
I
Barros,
promise you.
It
Barros.
would have.
Here's the counterpoint, though. Like when Gumi was able, like there are a few times that I can think of where Gumi does try to be transparent and communicate that clearly. The outrage at the time was so stupid and overblown. I feel like that kind of scares Gumi away from being transparent.
Yeah, remember when they announced that there weren't going to be any Chinese New Year NVAs?
Like that was actually so stupid at the time. So, and that's sort of, and from Gumi's perspective, and again, Gumi has always understaffed, and they're always under the reign of Square Enix. They think that if they communicate too clearly, then the player base will get preemptively get angry at them even before seeing what it actually means. So,
And they're not wrong.
so it, I feel like Gumi's stuck in a rock and a hard place. I completely understand why people can feel that they've been duped by not getting a free NVA, basically. And I think that's why people are angry. It's not because Zyle's good or anything. It's just never good to have free NVA. I mean, we've already missed quite a few JP units, and I've never seen this sort of anger because we didn't get what? Original Gabronth? I still want original Gabronth. But
Yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, but you like FF12. You're not like you don't count.
You're one
So-
of the like 3 people or something in the world.
So I think Gumi really doesn't know. Like they don't want to communicate purely because of previous experiences.
Yeah, but
And-
that's so stupid because I mean, like that's saying, yeah, of course it's always easier to lie or to not say anything. That's easier. But and there is a pain threshold of transparent communication. There is, because as you said, people are going to be mad, and they have been when Gumi have stepped out to communicate. But if they kept doing that, people would see, okay, they are actually at least being upfront with us, and they're telling us what their intentions are. They're telling us what's going to happen with the game in the future, what their plans are. Instead of jerking us around, having us guessing, having people
I don't
angry.
think that would happen. Like, I like FFBE. There are people in the player base that I like. I'm not a fan of what Gumi is doing, but there's also a very large and very toxic part of the player base that just gets angry way out of proportion, even when Gumi is doing things that aren't good. Like I said, I wish we got Zyle. I'm not happy that we're not getting him. But there's some people that are taking their anger way beyond what makes any sense. And
Yeah.
like there's people who are threatening to quit just over this. Like there's some people who are saying like, "Hey, I've been frustrated with the direction the game is going. This is like kind of the last straw." That's one thing. There's other people who are saying like, "This is a slap in the face. This is the reason why nobody should play the game." And it's like, really?
Zyle.
This is the hill you're dying on?
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't know. I mean, maybe I really feel that transparent communication would have helped. I am fully aware that I could be wrong here. I've been wrong many times, but I feel that the anger would have been less.
I agree with you, Barrows, in that we do need more transparent communication, and really, hopefully, Gumi does that. Even if the player base is irrational and they get their gungers way too easily, I think that's what the hazard of managing a bunch of mobile game players comes with, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's like the gotcha, because like in essence it's gambling, right? Or part of the game is gambling. So not all of it, but part of the game is gambling. And I think that if you're a dolphin, or if you're just putting in some small amount of money, and maybe you don't even have that much money to put in to begin with, then of course seeing Gumi do these type of things causes you more frustration than it would have if you're just, I don't know, a free to play player and with no actual loss, no skin in the game, right? So I get that these type of communities can be more toxic and can be more demanding of the company, that there could be more actual rage. But on the other hand, I don't know, my comparisons with companies that are really good at transparent communication in the video game sphere in general usually have better communities, because at least, they're training their community to understand, okay, we're going to at least be honest with you. You might not like every decision we make, and that's fine, but we're at least going to be honest with your shit.
I find that mobile game communities just tend to be very toxic.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, the other thing that I guess I wanted to point out in that this whole I guess no Zyle situation is that it really does throw a wrench into what happens to the other 3 to 4 star base NV/7 stars. Like, are we getting them? Are we not getting them? And I think we need to warn people is that one never sets a precedent. Like, there was that time we never got STMR upgrades until suddenly one day they remembered that they existed and gave us the Shantoto STMR upgrade, like out of nowhere, when they forgot everything else. So they could just do it again. Like, this doesn't set precedent.
And not just that, Shadow. I mean, literally, again, since they're not communicating, Zyle could fucking come on the next banner. We don't know, right?
We
he could actually come. He could be the partner to whatever the fuck unit design is next, right?
Yeah.
He could be on that banner. So we just don't know. Here again, we'd be nice with some communication, because if he's coming on a later banner, then people would not be fucking angry. And if he's not, well, people would be fucking angry, but I'm at least hoping in my heart that they would be less angry than they are now, right? Or okay, I'm going to be honest, I would be less angry. I wouldn't be as angry if they just told us, yeah, Zyle is not coming. I'm sorry, we made this decision. I'm sorry you don't like it, but at least we're being upfront with you. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, we're ranting about this too much, I guess.
Zyle before we move on, and that's his TM and STMR, which we actually did get.
Awesome. Thank you for, taking the edge off the situation.
So his TM, baseline his TM is not great, but you can upgrade it with the event, and then it becomes actually like kind of decent. It gets 50% TDH on a hat, which is, I think, the only weapon that has that.
Leave it to Muspel to talk about an STMR that doesn't exist for a unit. So, congratulations, Muspel.
Well, this is the TM.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the commander's bicorn, or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So 40 attack, 50% TDH, and then it also has like paralyze immunity and fire resist, but that doesn't matter as much.
Okay.
And then his STMR is.
Isn't that the spirit gun?
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things. It's a two-handed
and it also
gun
has like
with 145 spirit. It's two-handed. It has a little bit of fire, ice, light, and dark resist. It regenerates MP, it gives LB autofill, and it increases XP gained.
Jesus, but it also has like shit variance, doesn't it? It goes like from 0.3 to 1.7 or something.
No, it's one. I'm looking at the recent JP. It's 1.35 to 1.65. I assume it's the same in GL.
Okay, then I'm thinking about a different gun, because I got a gun that had 0.3 to 1.7 in game.
Yeah,
like,
there is another gun that came from an old event called Zyle Cannon or some shit, and that one was terrible. It was
I'm
based on
looking at.
Zyle's kit, and if you know Zyle's like baseline kit, his old 4-star kit, which almost nobody does because he was a 4-star unit. Why would you ever look at it? But I had to look at it once. It's real bad. Like I'm trying to remember how it works. He spends
Okay,
several
don't.
turns setting up. No. This is actually funny. He spends several turns setting up for this skill, and then that's at each step, like you have a random chance of it working or not working. And then at the last stage, it will either hit all enemies or hit your party.
Okay, that sounds great, actually. That sounds like hilarious.
Why can't we have good things like this?
Yeah, why can't? Well, we can. We do have 4-star Zyle, so
Yeah, okay, so 20% of the time it does damage to enemies, 80% of the time it kills your entire party. And this is after like 6 turns of setup.
All right, okay. But so yeah, his STMR is weird. At least we're getting it. At least we're getting his TMR, and they're both upgradable as well.
On the wiki, his STMR is showing 30% to 170% variance.
Yeah,
So-
that's okay. See, I knew I saw something in game.
So maybe
Like
his STMR is still 30% to 170%.
Well, Zyle Cannon is not his STMR.
Bombardier's cannon flag, right?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking about. The cannon flag. It has like spirit as well, right? It's super dumb.
It's a super dumb thing. Here, I'll send you a screenshot, Muspel.
I wonder if
I mean,
they
like-
copied it from the Zyle Cannon thing, because that's
'Cause
what
you're
Zyle
never-
has.
I mean, you're never gonna use this weapon for anyone, I guess, other than you would have for MVA Zyle, maybe if it unlocks some trust passive or shit. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, listen, let's just move the fuck on with our lives, okay? How about
Okay,
that?
yes. So let's talk about the next unit, Charlotte. It's good
Wait.
to have another Charlotte. It's always good to have more tanks in the game.
Yes. That was the angle you were going for. All right, I'm gonna leave that angle because everybody knows this is not Tank Charlotte, Tank
What?
Lot. No, I'm sorry, Muspel. This is not a wait, did you pull on this banner thinking it's a tank?
That would
would've
have been
been
great. That would have been hilarious.
Muspel goes like pities Charlotte. He's like, another tank.
This banner just keeps disappointing me.
Yeah. Okay. Before we go into the disappointing stuff, and I know there's a lot of disappointing stuff about this banner, I just want to say that Envy Charlotte has the best looking fucking CGLB in the game. All right.
100%
I'm just gonna
agreed.
say it.
Yeah, 100% agreed.
It's fucking amazing. Okay. I have pulled 500 pulls on this banner just for that LB. Okay. I still haven't gotten a Charlotte though, but yeah, it's really, really good. All right. So, okay. Now bring on the negative stuff.
Unfortunately, although the CG LB may be good, the LB itself is not. Her kit is deeply underwhelming. She has like a Grandis ability that gives 80% AoE mitigation for 3 turns, and it has 4 uses, so she can actually like sustain that really well on any fight that's not super long. So I guess that's fine or whatever.
And
But
she seems to be a finisher.
damage-wise, I guess, sort of, not really. Damage-wise, she's like, trying to think of another unit in this damage range. Let me pull up the spreadsheet. It's not good.
It's pretty bad.
But she's a finisher in base form, right? And then she's a chainer in shift.
Damage-wise, she's about 10% behind Shadow Lord.
Yeah, I know. People were saying this on the Newsday pod as well, that like really her damage is so subpar. Dream was saying she's somewhere around there, like just behind last gen.
The problem is that like even when she's finishing, her burst is not that high. It's like
Yeah, I mean
700, 800 billion-ish, which is like that's Tifa levels of burst, old Tifa.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember when that was good?
I mean, the CGLB does save her a bit. Like, it's worth using this unit just to be able to watch that LB over and over again.
No, she uses her shift LB.
No, I would use her base LB, okay, if I had this unit. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah, she would use her shift LB, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Honestly, this is go for it. Yeah, sorry.
No, I'm just gonna say, like in shift, she seems to resemble Lauren a bit, both in sprite, obviously, but also in kit, because she seems to be a tri-element chainer. Although, what the fuck are these mods? These mods are lower than Rain's mods. Okay, I guess she does more damage than NV Rain, but
her mods are like 225.
Did you know that
for the
some
finishing
of her
skills,
mods
right?
are lower
Or does she
than
get
Ling's?
mod boosts? Oh, nice.
So,
But she
that's-
doesn't get mod boosts in shift form. I'm talking about shift form.
Oh,
Like she
yeah.
has shit mods, like absolutely horrible mods. Her finisher mods in base are good, but she can only dual cast those, so you only get up to like 400 something X modifier, which is tiny compared to any LB finisher.
Yeah, she's certainly not a good unit, not worth pulling for.
But I
Yeah.
pulled for her.
Unless you
Well-
want the LB, just saying. Did you get her, Shadow?
No, I used all my tickets, didn't get her. So
Yeah, same here. Sorry to hear that.
yeah.
I'm gonna do some more pulls, at least dailies, see if I get her, because I want that LB in my life. I need it.
Yeah. But don't do what we do. Do what we say. Don't pull for her.
Yeah. Shadow is right. Like, you have absolutely no need for this unit.
I think that I've been saying this on Discord. I think that this might be the worst banner we've gotten all year. Like,
Really?
there's strong competition. It might, like Mellow or Mazurka, those banners might be worse. But
No
this
way,
is
no
up
way.
there.
Mazurka is actually a good unit.
So
And when
Mello
she was released,
has
she did a lot of
useful
damage.
STMR,
No, she
and
didn't.
his card isn't bad either. The only thing I think that can coast is I think Diverti and Coral, possibly.
Diverti was like a good unit. He just came out at a really shit time. Like, if you ignore Phasey, which apparently Alum likes to do because they keep releasing tanks that are worse than her, then like Diverti was roughly competitive for being one of the best tanks in the game.
Is
I don't
Diverti
know.
a tank? What the
Yes.
fuck?
Yeah, he's a magic tank. Well, he's also an Earth Evoker, but he's better as a
Yeah,
magic
I thought he was literally Earth Terra. Okay, I did not know he was
I mean,
a magic
he
tank as
he
well.
is literally Earth Terra, obviously. How could he be anything else? But he is
Yeah.
something else, and he's a magic tank.
Oh shit! I did not know. Okay, interesting. I got Diverti the other day. I was actually quite happy about
He's
it.
a dual wield magic tank that uses throwing weapons. You know, very normal
Oh.
magic tank stuff.
Sounds normal enough. All right. But Charlotte, unfortunately, do we want to say something about her TMR and STMR? Muspel?
Yes, her TM.
Her TMR is actually pretty interesting though.
Yeah, it's attack 50% attack 50% LB damage. That's pretty good. Like that's a slightly watered down version of Sora's STMR. So for a TM, this is really good. It also has 50% spirit on it, which is like along with the attack, that's not useful, but this is one step closer to Shui Yu LB finisher Brave Shift build.
Of course.
So, you
of
know,
course
if
it
she
is.
ever gets like EX2 abilities or something and her gets like some spirit TDH or something so that she's less terrible, then maybe she'll use this along with Xuan Wu's STMR. There's like a few items that have spirit and LB damage on them for some godforsaken reason.
All right. But her STMR is a bit strange, right? Because Charlotte, in her base finisher form, she's a TDH unit, but in her shift chaining form, and also the form you want to use her LB in to actually burst, she is TDW. But her STMR is TDH. It's a two-handed
Yeah.
sword. So can it transform?
Nope. Why would it be able to do that? That would make sense.
Well, somebody told me that there was a recipe or some shit where you could actually craft it into two weapons or some shit. I don't know. Like,
Oh, I
somebody
take that back.
said
I'm
that.
looking at the wiki page now. I did not pay enough attention to this unit. Yes, you can craft her STMR into a one-handed weapon with what does this thing do?
And does it go back and forth? Like, can you craft it into the
Looks like it. Yes, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Wait,
So
her STMR can be crafted?
yes,
Yeah,
you can,
into
you
a
can change
one-handed
it-
sword.
Yeah, so you can change it from two-handed weapon that gives 700 attack and 50% TDH to a one-handed weapon that gives 1000 HP and 350 attack and spirit.
Oh, that's not so bad for magic tanks. Oh, but it's only for Charlotte.
Yeah, the passes are only for Charlotte. So like if you want to use Sacred Shield Charlotte, this is not a bad tank weapon for her. But if you're using Sacred Charlotte as your magic tank, I'm really sorry, you need help.
Yeah. Well, I would say arguably this is the best weapon for Magic Tank Charlotte because it gives her 350 flat spirit, it gives her 1000 flat HP, and is also 160 spirit weapon.
Oh yeah,
so,
it's easily best in slot for SS Charlotte. It's just that SS Charlotte is kind of a really bad magic tank by modern standards.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Not like Diverti.
I still don't get it. Like, this unit could have been so fucking amazing if she was a tank in base form, like a decent tank, and then shifts into a DPS.
So
that would be cool.
I have a theory about this banner because we're gonna talk about Vlad and how shit he is too later. But like, this banner was a batch of banners in JP before we know what happened. I feel like there's like two teams at Alim. One of them just drunkly creates units like they did with Vlad Charlotte, and then there's like another group that's actually competent and knows how the game works, and then creates like a really strong batch of units, and they just coordinate between each other.
I think it's the other way around. I think the drunk team makes units like Sephiroth and Phasey, and then the other team just like kind of sits there and rubs their foreheads.
No,
and
no,
tries to release
that
units
makes
that are balanced.
Yeah, what Muspel says makes a lot more sense because I can definitely see the sane people are making units like Diverty, Vlad, Charlotte, and then this asshole comes in like to the office once a week, and he just
Oh, you
draws
guys!
up
I
a
have
kit.
this great fucking idea.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
and then
make
like
a magic tank that's also like Ignis's entire damn kit at the same
yeah,
time. It's
yeah.
gonna be sick, bro.
Yeah, and this dude comes in. Listen, this dude comes in, and they're like, "Oh, we've just made Luna Freya. Look at her kit. She's pretty decent. She does about the same damage as Terra." And he's like, "Yeah, but have you considered giving her 2 weapons that are grindable that like give her 5 million magic?" That's the dude. Like he does these things. Like
You know what?
he
That makes total sense.
that may I think Muspel, you nail it. There is a drunk dude coming in once a week to like or once a month or whatever to Alim's headquarters and fucks shit up. Like he's like, let's make Sephiroth, and he's like, oh, I can't miss Sephiroth, you know. So I
Yeah.
think so.
He's the
I
same
think
fuckwad that probably made Zidane too, right?
yeah, because like
Quite
yeah,
possibly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to be drunk to figure that shit out.
I think that what happened with that one was that he came up with the max modifier for Zidane's LB, and then everybody else was like, once he
How do
left,
we
they were
save
like,
this?
let's try to figure out if we can make this reasonable and not overpowered. And then they
Yeah.
came up with a way, and the result was the unit that we all know and hate.
Yeah. All right. Okay. But let's move on then. Who the fuck is Vlad? Right?
Well, we should talk about.
Well,
the
I
vision
actually know
card.
who Vlad is.
The vision card is actually like okay.
What is it?
It's 100 attack.
880 mag.
That part is not relevant to anybody but hybrids. And then 40% attack, or 80% attack with a sword, 80% attack with a great sword, 50% LB damage for FFBE units.
Right, and I mean this is the card that both units have, right? So that's why it
Yes.
has magic and it has rod passives on it. It's actually a pretty silly card, to be honest, because looking at it, it has attack, flat magic, and then it has attack and magic passives that do not go together well, because the attack passives are with sword and greatsword, while the magic passives are with a rod. So it's literally 2 cards in one. Like because they had to do this,
I mean,
they made 2
honestly,
cards in one.
if you're gonna make cards that aren't like straight up better than older cards, this is actually like not bad, because this is good for hybrids. I think this is the highest like combined attack
is,
and
it is.
magic. And then you get, like, if you're dual wielding a sword and greatsword, you get 160% attack, which is very high for a card. And then it has LB damage for FFBE units. There are a lot of those. LB damage is pretty popular these days. Like, this isn't
True.
the best attack card, not by a long shot, because there's some that have 110 base attack or 115 even. Especially when you look at future stuff. I think Sephiroth has like 120 or something. But
125 even, I think. It's dumb.
yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, I mean,
okay.
This is
No,
not one
but
of those
I hear
cards
what
where
you're
I look
saying.
at it and it's like, who would ever want this? It's one of those cards where I look at it and it's like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I'm just a bit, disappointed at the design because it's literally 2 cards in one. Is what I'm saying. Like there could have been a Charlotte card, and there could have been a Vlad card.
Yeah,
but since they're not doing that, they just combine 2 cards into one,
Well,
and it just
at
looks
least this
silly.
time they didn't, like, at least this
It's-
way, like, if you pull Vlad and he's your only damage dealer, God help you, then, like, you have a card that works for him. It's not like if you pulled Vivi and you were stuck with this attack card.
A really good attack card, but yeah, an attack card.
This was a trend that started where people were thinking that Aelin was getting quote unquote lazy because now we're like obviously start overlapping cards, and then obviously Sephiroth's stupidly simple kit, and then we don't get brave shifts anymore in the future. So like that's sort of it's the start of that sort of trend, I think, now. But I don't know if it was lazy or if it was
I
lack
think
of
I said this
funding.
in a previous episode, but really the problem is that, like, they ran out of ideas for vision cards about a month after they started making vision cards.
Yeah.
Like, I completely get why they're not making new vision cards all the time, because there's no interesting design space there.
Well, there could be if vision cards weren't just flat stat sticks. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, but the problem is that since cards like that exist, like, everything has to compete with those.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they could actually be fairly interesting. They could have actually unique, usable effects on them
Yeah.
that you would want to use, but since they don't,
Yeah, like if vision cards, like if there were no vision cards that had any stats, and instead each one gave you like a few specific active skills, and it let you kind of pick sort of a small support kit for a unit that you
Yeah.
could swap around and equip, that might be interesting. But that's not the game
Absolutely.
we're playing, so
That would be so cool. That or at least stuff like, passive 30% amp to an element, for instance. Just things like those that actually could be very useful in certain scenarios because right now they're just stat sticks and you want the biggest stick, right? Because everyone wants the
yeah.
biggest stick.
So
Right?
there's one more unit on this banner, and I've been doing a really good job at predicting what's going on this banner. So, like in the story, Emperor Vlad was a very powerful mage who was like basically immortal because he could create like impossibly powerful force fields. So I'm assuming that he is a top tier mage with like huge AoE mitigation buffs, right?
You're
Or
setting
barriers,
yourself up
maybe
for
barriers.
failure here, Muspel.
Yeah. So what does he actually do? Well,
Just saying. Just
he does things. He's a
Hey,
physical type.
wait. He
Okay.
also does stuff.
Yeah, okay. He also does stuff. And he's a physical type magic chainer. I actually did not know this. But I see that now. That's something, at least, right? Killers.
Yeah, but he doesn't use that skill. Like, or at least it doesn't deal good damage.
Oh, okay. That's a shame. So okay, so what is he? I have actually no idea other than that he sucks
He's a
big
shit tier
balls, but
finisher.
shit
Well,
tier finisher, okay.
like his burst is fine. It's like around Terra, I think, but it takes him a long time to set it up because he has to use his LB, and then he has to wait 3 turns. Well, like he does this auto cast buff shit, and then he gets a huge modifier boost to one of his skills, and then he casts that skill.
Wow. That sounds great. So
Yeah,
it's like a Zidane, but with shit burst.
I mean his burst is like 2/3 of Zidane.
Okay, so then it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's like 1.8 trillion.
Okay.
But
Okay.
since he has to fill up his LB first, and he doesn't have like a good way to do that, you're gonna have to entrust him if you want to do it before like turn 7, and then even like the payoff is still not that impressive.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I do think he has a 10% rot imperil though, so like if you don't want to use realm, he might be like because he does enough damage on his own. It might be better to bring him than realm, even though the rot imperil is so much smaller.
Right.
that's what
Right.
she said.
Because he could actually do some damage. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, he seems very uninspiring. When I'm looking at his kit, he has nothing where you could say, "Oh, this is well." Apart from the rod imperil, there's really nothing here that would stick out. That would be unique. And yeah, a shame. I mean, I still think season 2 was good. I don't know if I'm the only one thinking that, but I actually thought season 2 was good.
It was
And
okay.
it's a shame that like Vlad was, I mean, one of the big characters in it, obviously, right? So it's a shame that he isn't more powerful than this. I mean, okay, so he's more powerful than Rain. Um, that to begin with, that is actually anti-lore, right?
Yeah, that's true. Wow, we have people that
Uh,
were interested in the lore in this room. I didn't know that.
I mean, it kind
Well,
of depends on what point you're talking about things.
yeah, sure. So if Envy Rain is Rain from when he just turned into Hyo, then yes, okay, Vlad is stronger, and then this makes sense. And I guess that's the case, right? Because Rain actually turns into Hyo in his Brave Shift. So
I guess. Who
yeah,
knows?
yeah, who knows? Who the fuck knows? Okay, so shit unit. Do you want to say something about the TMR and STMR?
The TMR is not great. It's 100% true single wield with some dark resist. Like the only way I see this ever becoming relevant is if we get a lot more magic true single wield gear and then shield with high magic, because then like a mage could use that to get some extra magic compared to TDH. But then you need
Right.
a mage that could use shields, which
No,
is
but Sinzar bored a big ass dick-sized hole in that theory because apparently shields count as a fucking weapon towards imperil calculations or weapon imperil calculations. You will
are
never
you
ever.
fucking me?
No, well, I wish I
God
was,
damn
but
it.
I am not. I am not. Yeah, so actually that's true. So you're halving your weapon imperil if you're using a shield. So no, unfortunately, that was not the cool thing. I also thought it could
To
be.
be fair, like in some cases you might not be using weapon imperil. Like in DV you probably are, but like For trials, maybe not, especially since rod imperils are pretty rare. I think
Sure.
there's only like 2 or 3 units that have it, but yeah,
But
like even in the best possible scenario, I don't think this is a great TM. It's just like
yeah, because technically the best scenario right now is actually using Lightning's TMR. SOS Lightning's TMR is the highest magic
which
shield.
has 50 magic.
Yeah, so like sure. I mean, okay, it's gonna get you some flat stats. It's gonna get you 200, right? But yeah,
That's exciting. That's really exciting. Good shit.
Hey, listen, maybe it gets you above the 6K barrier, and then it's more EPing, and EPing is what it's all about.
True.
Yeah, and then his STMR is
Terrible, right? Is it just me?
what is the
It
skill that
exists.
autocast even does?
I don't know, because I am trying to figure it out on Wiki, but
Hang on, let me
like
use
I'm
the
clicking
bot.
on it, because the Wiki just says it's autocasting the skill, but I can't figure out what the skill that it's. So okay, so while Muspel is figuring that out,
I
I
looked
can.
it up before. I'm trying to remember. I think it was like a 250% magic buff for 1 turn or some shit.
But even
Yeah, but
then,
the rod
it's still
is
shit.
yeah, it's unimpressive. It's a 184 magic rod.
magic buff for 1 turn at the start of the fight.
At the start of the fight, so it's not even like recasting every turn.
But that's
apparently not, unless you die and get revived. So, there's a pro DV strat. Just sacrifice all that score from a unit dying to get that buff back.
But hold on. Like, I mean, this is a 184 magic rod. Like,
it's
that's
a good
an
thing we
STMR
don't have
and
any rods with higher magic than that. This is about as good as it gets, right?
I mean, wait, what was Toto's upgraded rod at? Like, it's 180, right? With 50% LB damage or some shit. This is like the fuck. Okay, all right, yeah. So this is. I mean, please don't pull on this banner. I'm just saying, like, okay, Charlotte's LB is kick ass, but just don't fucking pull on this banner, okay?
Yeah, this is
sad.
Like I said, might be the worst banner all year.
It really
okay,
is.
I am seeing it. I am seeing that it could be the worst banner all year. Because like it's definitely worse than Mellow, and it's definitely worse than Mazurka. Because I hate that you said those banners are bad. Okay,
Mazurka is terrible, like objectively terrible.
I mean, no, I think she's great. Okay,
how hard do you think she bursts?
I think she bursts as hard as Edgar if both of them have a spear in peril.
That's hang on, how hard does Edgar burst? That's probably about accurate, but Edgar doesn't burst very hard either. Like Edgar's burst was high when he came out, but
she came out almost at the same time though. She came out like on the banner after him or whatever the fuck. Like it was close.
It was like
the only difference,
wasn't it?
Sorry,
wasn't it significantly later?
I thought it was pretty bit later.
Okay, maybe it is. Maybe I have select from memory. I just think Mazurka's sprite was cool, and I think she's a cool unit. Also, she has dual stack Mirage. Okay, okay, whatever. Fuck this conversation, and let's just move on.
Mazurka came out 3 months after Edgar's Envy.
Okay, shit, that was a long time. Okay, all right. Okay, never mind. This is the worst banner. Okay, this is the worst banner.
No, I'm saying that Mazurka might be competitive for the worst banner.
No, fuck you, Muspel. This is
era it came out.
No takebacks. This is the worst banner. You said it already. Okay.
No, I said it's a competitor for the worst banner.
I don't know. There's upcoming banners that I think could be worse, but this is definitely up there. So
okay,
we're in for some surprises in the next. Like, okay, so I just want, before we end the podcast today, because it's a short podcast, one little thing is this kind of throws a wrench in everyone's like plans, because we skipped quite a few banners just to get here today to this banner on the second week of anniversary. They skipped a few banners to get to this exciting, amazing units like Charlotte and Vlad. So
I mean, we skipped Hawkeye for this, right?
Do we get Hawkeye? Do you think? Like, do we just skip that entirely now?
I think so. I mean, we're getting Sephiroth. Who the fuck is going to release Hawkeye after Sephiroth? Right? That would be stupid. Or?
I think so.
Yeah. I doubt it. I doubt we're getting... I mean, that could also be a licensing deal where they just don't have the license to do...
We just don't have the Secret of Mana Collapse anymore, I think. We only got like twice on like JP.
Yeah.
So
so that could be a thing. But okay, whatever. I mean, you know what? I just wanna I know we've been going for a while already, and you said it's a short podcast, actually a long one. But I just wanna say what a refreshing breath of air it is to play games where units do not get immediately power crept, and where there are units that are several years old that are still relevant in the game. All right? Because, okay, bar Mastermind Zon, right? Because fuck that unit, that was a mistake. But, I mean, honestly, like, it's such a shame that I'm getting a unit that I really enjoy, and I'm gonna be using it for like 2 weeks
I swear to
tops.
God, if this is an advertisement for Raid Shadow Legends.
So there's this game I've been playing called Raid Shadow Legends. It's really good. No, it's not. I'm not gonna say what game I am playing because I'm not gonna talk about that. But there are multiple gachas that work like this, where old units are still relevant for a long time, where units get updates to balance updates well into their age, where they're still relevant, and we just have this endless power creep curve. And honest to God, I've seen so many whales and other loyal players quit just because this endless power curve is exhausting. Like you can't keep up with this shit. I have several NVs that I was super excited about getting that I have never used. Like not even once on a trial or anything. They just sat in my fucking inventory. This level of power creep, Jesus Christ, like they need to slow the fuck down.
Yeah,
I
I
just
think
don't know how.
part of it is, I guess I've played some gacha games, but I haven't played like a huge number. I'm not sure how normal like the weekly release schedule of new units is.
That's pretty extreme. Yeah. No. It's fairly unusual to release units once every week. Absolutely. But even then, like, I mean, that still doesn't explain it. Even if you're releasing units bi-weekly or monthly, um, the units aren't creeping everything immediately, right? There are side grades. There are interesting units just for, um, like, I mean, Charlotte could be just as strong as the latest DPS, and in fact, all the 20 latest DPS could be just as strong, and people would still pull on them for nostalgia, for the visuals. Maybe they are side grades and that they have different elements or different supporting kits in their kits, where you would still want them. Um, Killers for DV. There are ways of making the game diverse without fucking us over with this power curve, okay? It's exhausting. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, this was a long rant.
I agree. I mean, I, so people in the last week or two have been mockingly saying that GL is a different game from JP, but I always say it with a straight face that it is. Like, it's honestly so different that you can't really compare the two anymore since about like a year or two ago. Um, and this is just another thing. Like JP with their power curve, what they do, they always try to reintroduce older units into a new limelight, right? Like they do like the reworks on older units, STMR upgrades, and enhancements are still a thing there. EX upgrades. There's like always these ways to bring back old units into the limelight. While GL seems to have abandoned that total notion of like that altogether, because like it all comes together. Like the EX, the enhancements, the sort of like free S7-star reworks that Titus and like old Noctis got. That sort of like philosophy or the game design isn't there in GL for whatever reason. It'll be great to know why. I'm sure there is a reason, but
Yeah, that's a good point, Shadow, because they do have more of this in JP. Like, it's not great because they still have the same weird power curve, right?
yeah,
That's still there. But at least what you're saying is that at least there you get a bit more of these old units catching up. I would still like to see the power curve flatten a lot because I really don't see any reason for this. I mean, I understand they're designing units for DV. There are ways of designing units for DV without it bursting for 1 trillion more than the previous unit. There are other ways of making that unit extremely well needed for that
it,
specific DV.
the other
You know,
thing that I think people often forget about JP is that it's also much more like their safety nets are really like it's not a given, right? Like the Sephiroth banner was like notorious for being 100k safety net to get Sephiroth, and
mhm.
there are other gambling elements that are more gotcha intensive than GL. So in a way, maybe that's JP's way of compensating. Like it's harder to get MV units. Like Fest was a thing in JP, and we never had Fest. Thank God for that. But in JP, those sort of more gotcha elements, more I guess whalish elements exist. So therefore, they compensate that with like all these free enhancements, 7-star reworks, STMR upgrades. While in GL, we get a much more, I guess, nicer safety net and less of a gambling to get the unit versus no upgrades in older units. I think that's the sort of trade-off that Gumi is trying to make in the two games here. So maybe
Maybe, but I also want to say that I don't think Gumi understands this way of designing because we said this on a very old podcast, but back when me and Hazard were both playing War of the Visions, we were saying how Gumi had the perfect chance to transform War of the Visions into a game that does side grades because War of the Visions had a system where side grades and elemental affinities play a very big role, right? So it would make a lot of sense to just, release another unit that just has a very similar kit, very similar damage output, but a different elemental affinity. That would still be a very desirable unit. But they never did. They did the same thing that they did here, which is like this very steep power curve that just keeps creeping and creeping and creeping. And yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the only way they know how to design. And other developers seem to have unlocked a different way of designing. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a bit negative. I know, but it's late here. I am a bit negative. I was just playing some Monster Hunter World, and I couldn't defeat some of the hunts I was hoping to defeat. So I'm in a bad place. I'm probably going to do more 500 pulls on Charlotte tomorrow, so don't worry.
Whoa!
It's all going to be good.
I don't ever do 500 pulls. And this is where I make the plug that DFFO Defo is probably the best Final Fantasy gacha game in the game, best gacha game period. I think in terms of generosity and safety nets, but that's just me.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening
everyone.
to the Globals podcast, and cue the chocobos.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.